Welcome to Call That Girl's Office 365 courses. I'm Lisa Hendrickson, your hostess, and this is course number 9. This week I have Adam back with me. Welcome, Adam.
Hi.
Adam's getting to be a regular here on the courses and on my podcast. Why is that? Because Adam listens to all my fun stories every day.
Yeah, we share.
And we share a lot of them, yeah. This week is kind of a mashup course. It's also going to be a blend with my podcast. So if you have not subscribed to my podcast, I've had, I think the Office 365 one up for about 3 years now. There'll be some notes down below so you can go ahead and get the feeds for that. But I'm doing a mashup for a reason. Adam and I did a GoDaddy podcast, 6 months ago maybe?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's time to kind of recap again because I know a lot of techs are getting into the GoDaddy. Well, they're getting into Office 365, but more importantly is some techs are still using GoDaddy as their how they're buying it and selling it to clients. And we've got some tips on why you should avoid that. And for folks that take on GoDaddy clients, it can be sticky with that too. And migrating them off is really, it's a lot to learn. So we're going to just kind of cover some tips of what we've done. But before we get started with that, like we do on my podcast shows, Adam, you got any stories this week?
Just kind of a tip, one I ran into today. If you get a customer, they had OneDrive, everything was saved there, and then all of a sudden they can't find any of their documents, and Word and Excel and those are trying to save locally, make sure that they're signed into the right email address on their Office account. This user, for whatever reason, Office prompted her to sign in, and she used her primary email address, which was not the account that we had set up for OneDrive and everything else.
No.
So she was kind of in a panic, but once she told me, oh, hey, by the way, I did sign back into Outlook, I'm like, I know you have multiple domains, so we got that straightened out. So.
Yeah, I don't think it's multiple, with Outlook.com, a lot of people will sign up with their Gmail or their iCloud, and it really gets messy. So that is a great tip, is to check what account they're logged into in there.
Yeah, this one happened to be an Office 365 migration we did a couple of months ago, and they just happen to have multiple domains in their account. So.
Well, I always get the people that use Outlook.com and iCloud, and because that's the work I do. But, that's another tip with that. Today, well, I don't know if anybody, let's see, what is it today, June 11th?
Yep.
And starting about last week, I started getting logged out of my Office account only in Word, not in Outlook. So I thought that was weird. So I'd go to open a document and it would be old stuff or nothing there and none of my PIN stuff, And I was starting to get really angry. Like after the third time, I was like, it's time for me to fix this. Well, I went and looked it up on the internet because I honestly didn't even know how to even start with this, except for the standard stuff, reinstalling and all that I hate doing. Hoping there was something else. Then I emailed AppRiver and they're like, yeah, that's the fix. And it's not an easy one. It's a reg hack plus a reinstall plus a lot of work. And I was like, honestly, I'll just deal with getting logged out.
Yeah.
Well, then mysterious things happened. I got an update, and I'm going to tell you which one I got. Hold on. And the update, I think, fixed that, but then the update brought back another problem. It's 1806 I got, Adam.
1803?
No, 1806.
And for Office.
For Office. And I got billed 10228.20021. So anyway, I think that got fixed, but then what broke is, I don't know, I got tiny font. So then I rebooted and tiny font went away. But tiny font it's tiny.
Seems like, yeah, you've had a couple issues with that. It seems like a recurring thing.
What, is it me?
Yeah, I thought you said you had, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think I saw you had posted on Facebook that you had it once or twice, or.
Yeah, I've had, well, first of all, my Office, I think it's my computer. But anyway, for those that don't know, I've had many problems with my Office. I think it's my system, but. So anyway, tiny font is back. I'm going to reboot tonight and see if it goes away. I like calling it tiny font though. Kind of funny. But it did fix it the first time, but now this other problem, I'm like, I don't know. So anyway, before we get started on the GoDaddy stuff, I do want to take a moment to thank our sponsors. And I have a little intro here real quick. I'm going to knock out. AppRiver is a sponsor of all these courses. So if you're looking for an Office 365 vendor who also can do spam filtering and encryption, and they've got tons of other products. They have reseller and partner plans. You can email my rep, Steve Harris, sharris@appriver.com, or down below there's a sign-up page. And I think if you sign up, there might be something special coming soon. I'm not going to try to spoil it yet, but sign up, get signed up anyway, and that'll start the ball rolling with them. Also, if you are watching this on YouTube and you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. My YouTube channel is slowly growing, and I appreciate it. And also, if you watch course number 4, you can get 3 BitTitan licenses for Migration Wiz. And that's helpful if you're just learning how to do a migration. So you can practice and get the 3 there and use it with a live account or your own. And also down below, we've got an FAQ page I'll put in the notes, thanking our marketing partners, Channel Pro Magazine, Facebook IT Bug Group, D7, GE Geek, Launch UX. Nathan Neal is my WordPress tech, and he's great if you ever need someone to help you in a pinch or to take over and do your white label. And finally, my Facebook group is doing pretty good, you guys. It's for Office 365. Adam, I've even seen you chime in a little bit lately.
Yeah, here and there.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I've got a nice group of folks there. So join the group. It's pretty fast. There's international people, and I've kind of vetted everybody down to just being technicians. There's some spam, like my spam, but mine's the good spam. Anyway.
But it's my group, so it's my spam.
It's my group, my spam, and I'll prove it if I want. But yeah, otherwise I do let some people spam in, but it's only if it's really good stuff, and then nobody really tries to pitch much there. So that's good. Okay, so let's recap the GoDaddy stories, Adam. Once you can go ahead and start.
Well, I mean, do we just want to go into tips or?
Well, all right, let's do this. So first of all, I'll start with, I think, was it a year and a half ago or so when we started realizing the GoDaddy migrations were really bad.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, GoDaddy has what I believe is called Federation level, like their own Office 365, that they've got it down to kindergarten level compared to the Office 365, like graduate level. It's full and you get everything. So what they've done is they told me this. Yep, we cleaned it up so they get just the essential stuff, little everything, nothing fancy, and that's why we can sell it so cheap.
Yep.
And they are quick to get people to buy 10 years worth of this stuff.
Yeah. Well, they don't bother to tell the users or the customers like, oh yeah, we stripped it down to almost nothing and here's the package, that's why it's that price. But people don't know to ask that either. And even if they were told that, oh, you're missing these features, they're not going to know what those are anyway. So
they won't know until they need to know, and then
right.
They walk it.
Yeah, then it's a migration and we got to explain why. Yeah.
Well, I think mine started last summer. I took maybe it was a little bit before summer. I took a call from a lady she had to do, she needed administrative rights. And that was where it all started. She had to do a Power BI thing for one of her business apps. And so I literally probably put 6 hours into this migration. That was before I met you, Adam.
Yeah.
And I only charged her $350, where I know I have at least 6 hours on the books with this. It was so horrifying. And I was all alone. Sure. I didn't really have anybody to help me. But AppRiver pulled, they're used to these kind of jobs. So that's why I like having them as my secondary, because even with their help back then, this was kind of a new thing, so there was a lot of challenges to it. We'll cover them here in a minute. But ever since then, we haven't taken one in a little while, I don't think.
No,
but we were doing quite a few for a while there. But anyway, let's start with this. So if you're watching the video, you can go to Google and type in GoDaddy Office 365 reviews. And that will take you, I think I'll share my screen here. Hold on. Oh boy.
I guess I did have one here that they purchased an Office 365 trial, or I guess they didn't purchase it, but they got a trial through GoDaddy, and then they didn't end up using it, but the domain still showed up there. So they were actually using Hosted Exchange through another provider, So we did have to get the domain removed, but it wasn't as big of a deal where you got to get the mail on hold and all that.
Right. Well, yeah. You know what? I got to tell you, these folks can go in real quick. And, well, anyway, I'll tell you another story after I show this off. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so if you just type that in, this is where I get some of my calls. And you can see my link over here. I tried to make this a really robust kind of informational. You know, I like making the blogs where I give away free information, but on the other hand, I've been really good with telling people this is not an easy thing to do, your first one. And I really recommend you call Adam up and say, coach me through it.
Yeah.
Because they can be bad. I mean, hours of not knowing what's going on and the confusion, but anyway.
Well, the critical step that you got to have somewhere to put the mail temporarily too.
Well, we're going to talk about that here, but I wanted to show folks the review first. And so down here, this is just for like basic, you know, people are going to buy it. But down here, I've got 3 little extra blogs. Okay. So I'm going to go to this one, how to migrate, because this is more for technicians. And this is the one, Adam, actually, I think you wrote it, didn't you? And I stole it with permission.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think this is how we got connected for those that don't know.
The weird thing is I posted it and you were going to post something similar the same day and you happened to see mine.
Yeah, I was like, can I just use yours and then I'll put your name all over it? So he was like, yep, sounds good to me.
Yeah.
All right, why don't you take a minute and explain all this, because just in the short Cliff Notes version.
Yeah, so really the biggest thing is if you're doing a GoDaddy migration or really from any other vendor that offers 365, we mostly see it with GoDaddy, but it's not specific for a migration. So you can only have the customer's domain in one place at a time. So when you create the new tenant account at whatever vendor, whether it's AppRiver or whoever, Microsoft, you'll have to do the migration to the .onmicrosoft.com email addresses because you can't get the domain there and get it verified. So once you start that, we use Migration Wiz to do the pre-stage migration. And then before you do a cutover, what you need to do is we use AppRiver's spam filter to put a hold on the mail because you have to remove the customer's domain from GoDaddy or the other provider before you can put it on the new tenant account. While that's happening, there's nowhere. Huh?
And that's scary.
Yeah, because while you're doing that, there's nowhere for mail to go.
Well, you better make sure you have all the data too.
Yeah, so that's why we really like Migration Wiz, because you do the pre-stage and so you got most of it there and you can verify that it's there. You can log into OWA for all of the accounts and check if you need to. So we'll put the mail on hold. That way anything come in will still get held while the domain is in the process of being moved. So you get the mail on hold, then you have to have GoDaddy or that vendor or whoever remove the domain from their system. Then you add it into your system, your new tenant account, and then you need to change all your DNS records, and then you do a release of the mail on whatever method you're using to hold it. Again, we use AppRiver's spam filtering and do a release, and then any mail that queued up while you're doing the domain move will all flow in. But it's very important that you know that hold is in place and working. And with AppRiver, they'll tell you, yeah, we can see mail coming in and it's being held here.
Yeah, it's nice when I'm like, time to release the mail.
Yep.
Pretty good after that. Well, I could tell you that the few I did beforehand, I'm going to stop the share for a second. The few I did, hold on. The few I did were, I didn't know all that stuff. That's why it took 6 hours. Sure. We were waiting on the email. And I think that was even before, like, maybe I didn't even talk to AppRiver much about that. I just thought it was a normal migration of some sorts. But here's a tip for everybody is if you're going to leave GoDaddy, The Migration Wiz works great, and I've felt pretty safe with that. But if you ever feel unsafe, just put a backup on an external drive or on another, back it up to a PST, the Exchange, back up the OneDrive, back up the SharePoint. It's always measure twice, cut once.
Yeah, yeah. There's no harm whatsoever in exporting to a PST. Then you got a copy. If especially like if I get a job from you, it's not a big deal because you've already gone through the mail, cleaned it up, fixed whatever's going on. But if that's not the case, and the user's been having problems, or you think there's some corruption or whatever, yeah, absolutely, take it from the backup. There's no harm in that. At the end of the day, if all you do is delete that because it worked fine, great. But if something went wrong and you got it, excellent.
I just cannot tell folks that I see on Facebook text talking so much about, oh, I'm just going to go delete that profile now right away. I'm like, don't delete the profiles because if something bad happens, you can at least try to convert that OST file in the back.
Yep.
It really gives me the worries sometimes.
I very, very rarely will delete a profile. Really, I don't have any reason to. That's like a lot of times if I'm deleting a file or a folder or whatever, I'll just rename it. That way it's still there. I can always put it back.
Yeah, I just leave them actually for clients are like, let's go delete that. I go, let's not.
Yeah, exactly. Because, there may be something, for some reason, something got missed and you can just go back and grab what you need and you're good to go. So yeah, I usually leave them too. Except for that one we had where we got instructions from Microsoft to delete all the profiles. Even I had that customer where he had Outlook 2016 and we just could not get it to work. And then they finally gave us a special registry hack. But yeah, that was the one time where we deleted all the profiles. But that was one computer out of like 5 devices he was using. Right. So there was a problem there.
Totally not a big deal.
Yeah.
No, I got to, I just, sometimes these migrations, it's better to just prevent and take your time because if you have to go and fix stuff, it can be just so long. And I just hate telling clients, yeah, I didn't make a backup. Mm-hmm. They're like, where's the backup? Yeah. Oh, they're worried about the backup now. They weren't worried about it before they hired you though. No. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to put these links.
Yeah, if you tried to sell them on the backup before.
Yeah.
Nope.
Now the backup's super critical.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put these notes in here for everybody to check out. Yeah, basically, I think that, there's some steps to a migration. I have the ebook, which I think this week, Adam, I'm going to give away the Exchange Migration ebook as a, yeah. So if you're watching.
Even I bought that.
I know you did. And I was like one of my favorite students. If you're watching and you email me and type in Exchange ebook, I will send you a free copy, which by the way, I've been giving away ebooks into the courses. I gave away the SEO book in one of the courses. Not telling you which one. What?
I said I bought that too.
I know you did. You clown. And that's where I found your blog that you did the GoDaddy one. Yeah. That's right. And I think I gave away another one too. I forgot which one. But anyway, I'm going to give away the Exchange one this week. Email me, lisa@callthatgirl.biz or .com, Exchange ebook. The thing is that book it's really good, an outline tutorial no matter what. Even if you're using, I don't think I used Migration Wiz back then, but it's always good to have because you might have to back up this computer only calendars and contacts. And I give instructions, I think very detailed too, by the way.
Yeah, it's just nice. I got it right before I did my first migration. I'm like, just give me a list of things that I know what to look for. And yeah, excellent.
It is a good little book. It is. So I'll put those out in the notes. This isn't a long course, by the way, of a tutorial about how to do a migration. That is really too long. But I will tell you folks, I want to tell the story what happened today. So on Thursday, I had a client that was using HostMonster and they had a big server failure. So the client didn't have email for 4 days. I said, well, we have a choice. I said, we can go I could try to work with them, which I said I would do. And I did. But they really were like, I had 45 minutes into the call. They kept saying, it's going to be fixed. It's going to be fixed. The client was like, move me to your AppRiver thing. Okay. I was like, fine. So I put in the sale and then I had to deal with HostMonster because the records wouldn't update. So I knew something was wrong. So all day Friday, I'm doing all this, you'd love it. I'm on the phone with Host Monster. I had a network solutions problem with another one. Then, so I got the account set up and I sent him the email and I sent him exact instructions. I didn't hear back. So I was like, winning, double Fonzie here, right? Well, today he calls and says, yeah, I still have some problems. Can you help? And I call him back and he's like, well, I couldn't understand any of your instructions, so I just called GoDaddy and got a new domain and office set up. I'm like, you're killing me. I mean, I got paid, but I spent all day Friday hammering out this DNS issue, and it was a battle. And so, honestly, I remoted in, and he was like, I just want my emails back. And you know what that means. I just want my autocomplete emails back. So I literally imported in his backup I made and did his autocomplete, and I didn't even bill him for the time today. I felt bad because actually in my instructions I sent to him, I forgot a letter in one of the email accounts, and he couldn't understand that. And I'm like, oh, if you would have just emailed me and said this doesn't work, I would have fixed it.
Yeah, see, if you don't follow my instructions or have an issue and don't ask me, no, you're still getting billed, because I've told you many times, look, if there's any questions, you call me.
Right.
We'll take care of it. But if
What?
you're not going to follow instructions, then that's not my fault.
I'm pretty sure that I sent him, and I'm always big on follow-up. Let me just go double check that, because now I'm like wondering if I did or not.
I'd be very surprised if you didn't.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, I did not say call me back, but I was pretty much like call App River for simple stuff, which is why I use them.
Sure.
So he did not call them, probably.
Must not have.
No. Anyway, so now I just lost one soul to GoDaddy. That's okay.
Yeah. Well, as far as domains, I don't have a problem using GoDaddy for that. Just don't use Office 365 there, because one day you'll regret it. It'll happen.
Well, one of the big ones that we had for folks that have been listening to my podcast is we had a SharePoint migration. That was the whole purpose of the migration. It was they needed to do stuff. And that was really a horrifying experience.
Yeah.
For us, and we had to bring in a SharePoint migration expert. So if you need one of those, we know one. Yeah. That's very affordable and great to work with, but it was just a tangled up mess. We had to have a spare account to dump the site files in, right?
Yeah.
And then we had to migrate them over again, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't wish that upon anybody. No.
Yeah, with the whole ordeal there, we ended up doing 2 migrations. It was quite a pain.
I know. And I remember we almost had to do a third site, but then it was so messed up. We have hours into this job.
The biggest problem, the reason so you wouldn't necessarily have to do 2 migrations. The biggest thing we ran into is they wanted their SharePoint URL to be their domain, but we couldn't do that on the new tenant account because it was in use with GoDaddy. Yeah. So we had to move it to a temp account, delete the domain from GoDaddy, and then move the domain over to the new second account, and then do a migration again. So that was the biggest ordeal of the whole thing. That's what screwed it all up. But later on, we learned that if you use groups in a certain way, you can change your SharePoint URL. So we do have to work for that.
I'm not 100% sure. For those that didn't catch the last course, Paul Joyner covered the sites and permissions and versioning, but we didn't go into, you can have a SharePoint course on its own.
Yeah.
So intense, but for text, the basics are good. So another just tip is if you get a client that they don't tell you everything, make sure you ask everything, because that'd be a really bad surprise to find out where's our SharePoint site.
Yeah.
That would be really bad. So a guideline for a checklist is check all the mailboxes, make sure there's no hidden ones you forgot about. Check their OneDrive, check the SharePoint. Now there's Teams, but I don't think GoDaddy has Teams.
I don't know. But one thing that we've all learned over the course of time is take what they tell you and then verify it yourself, because they may not know that they're using SharePoint.
Right.
So just Just take the time, log in, and look.
Yeah, that's true because they call it sites and they also call it something else now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and if they're just using it like a file server, they may not even know. If somebody set it up for them.
Well, and also it's really awesome that now if you set up syncing, that the OneDrive and SharePoint look exactly the same in Windows. Saw that the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was something else I was going to add. Oh, make sure you get the public calendars and contacts too. That goes away as well. Everything goes away when you cut it out. Now, here's the thing, though. I wonder, Adam, is even though they say you can't get the data back, I bet they have it somewhere. Because, my gosh, legally, they have to have a copy. They just
I
can't
don't
say
know.
there's a lawsuit.
With as confusing as their licensing is on anything, it's hard telling. I'm sure they got pages on how they're not responsible for your data.
Well,
So I don't know. Yeah.
I'm going to guess that on that server, they could get the data if they had to. But I'm going to tell you that it would not be easy because those people don't like sending you off anywhere.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in that situation. But yeah.
First level people think that they know everything. Second level people definitely know everything. If you thought you couldn't get first guy, second guy will close you down.
Yeah.
Not getting past that person.
Third level, they've got enough experience to know that they may not know everything.
Yeah.
They're a little calmer and a little more, okay, let's work through this.
Yeah, every blue moon I do get an engineer there, or what they quote call an engineer. I don't know if they really are, but they usually do know more. But that's emergency. Oh, so guess what I did? I just turned on my new Siri phone by accident by talking. I'm just adding that in as a funny because I just got an iPhone 10. I'm hooked up yet. Anyway.
I'm pretty sure Android won in your poll. It's time to switch.
Oh, if you haven't voted in my poll, I'll put a link to that in as well. What did you think? Android won?
I'm pretty sure.
I just put out a simple poll called, let's see, Facebook Android or iPhone. And it's got 317 votes, which is very impressive. I keep getting more, but Android is winning by 12 points. Dang it.
Yay.
Yeah. Yay. Yeah, well. All right, so I'll put a link to my Facebook out there too. You can open the floodgates to that. Let's see. What else do we got, Adam? This is kind of be just a mishmash show. I had a couple other notes. Let me go dig them up.
Well, as you can see, I'm in a different place. So I'm in my, what I'll call new old office. So we're moving back into this office. We were here in 2015 and 2016. And then we moved to working out of the house and now back to an office. And it was empty up until between those times while we were out. So from the end of 2016 until now. And so we signed an 18-month lease, and now they're saying they might have the building sold. So we're waiting to see how that goes.
Winning, not...
Yeah. So we're just going to continue on as if we're going to stay here and hope that we do.
If you do, I'm going to ask for some plants and pictures behind you. You look like you're in prison.
Yeah, we'll get something, but, it's bare essentials with not knowing what's going on with the lease right now.
Right. Well, this might be my last course here at the house. Yay. I haven't really talked too much about my studio, but my studio is, it's about 8 miles away, 8 minutes away, I guess, and it's part of a glass conference room deal. It's one of those co-op working spaces, and I'm going to make a video and kind of show it off, and I've got all the new technology there, so this might be a goodbye to Lisa being at the house. And for those who have been watching, I started this out in Vegas. Then I did it in the hotel rooms.
Yeah.
And now I'm here. And next one will be, so all the courses are going to have a different background, different everything. I'm excited, though, to get out. I have an assistant who comes in, and we're going to be doing some new videos, new how-to stuff. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm going to try to do a lot more this summer. I'm ready to start cracking data out. Well, Well, I think, Adam, I covered all the stuff in my little notes here about GoDaddy. It's really strange. On Friday, I had 2 DNS jobs. Today, I had 3 GoDaddy jobs.
I will give credit between Microsoft and GoDaddy for their DNS changes. That does just work from the Office 365 control panel. They have the option where they'll auto change the records for that, and it does just work. So I'll give them that.
Yeah, I love it when I actually test that button and it says, "Do you want us to connect to the company?" I'm like, "Yeah, do it." That's
Yep.
nice. But you know me, I'm always like clicking that. Let me do it manually.
Yeah. Yeah. Or still going to check. You always got to go check and make sure that it did work. But yeah.
I know. Yeah, the 3 GoDaddy jobs today, I was like, God, they just keep coming. Sometimes I get things in 2s or 3s sometimes. All right. Well, gang, here's my close up for the course. If you've got any feedback or you got a question or you want me to try to get a new course out for a topic, feel free to email me, lisa@callthatgirl.com. Our next course, by the way, is with Anthony, and he's going to do PowerShell. And it's not your standard PowerShell, like how to just run a bunch of commands. It's actually going to be how to launch it and do it. And that's the stuff that I never see in PowerShell videos.
Yeah.
There to have the it's already up and running. And I'm like, no, we're going to go to kindergarten level. And I want to learn how to do it from scratch. And he was already, for his video, he's actually going to pre-cook it because, well, it's just like he's got a lot going on. So at the very end, I was like, did you do it from scratch? And he goes, no. I'm like, do it from scratch because my people want to see it.
Yeah, PowerShell is the blue one.
See, I don't even know what that means.
So the command prompt is black, so the PowerShell windows are blue.
See, I did not know that. I don't do the PowerShell.
Yeah.
It makes me nervous. But I don't know. I figured I'll try to do it.
Well, the nice thing is pretty much anything that you're going to need PowerShell for, somebody's already got it scripted out, so it's really copy and paste.
Yeah, well, he's got them. He's going to give us all the scripts he uses and all that stuff. It just reminds me of Unix or, Unix writing and coding. And I never really did much of it. I never had root. I'll tell you that. No one trusted me. But I had to learn back in the day how to do some basic stuff.
Sure.
And never reboot servers. Nope.
Not during the day anyway.
Well, that's kind of funny. When I started at a help desk job, it was for a Honeywell R&D division. It was all Unix, like engineers. And one called in a ticket once, and I think they were effing with me because he was like, yep, go put this ticket in. And I was like, well, have you rebooted yet? This is in 2000. He goes, Lisa, I'm going to teach you one thing right now. I know you're new. Never tell a Unix user to reboot. And I was like, okay. Now for 18 years later, never forgotten that.
Yeah.
No. Well, anyway, I just want to see the PowerShell stuff. I'm probably never going to do it, but Anthony is for hire PowerShell person. He started his own business. That's all he's going to do.
Nice.
I know. And I think that's pretty cool. The entrepreneurs today can do niche work like that, So if you got a big job you need them to do or to help you out, it's better to hire out that stuff sometimes instead of hobbling through it yourself. So speaking of that, Adam's for hire for migration coaching. And what else do you do?
We do managed services. So we'll do, we'll pretty much help you with most things, whether it's email migrations or if you need some remote server work or whatever. We'll do a little bit of overflow too. If you need some help with a project or something that can be done remotely, hit us up. We'll let you know if it's a fit or not.
Tech help. Yeah, you could jump in on migration jobs for sure.
Yep.
You need an extra hand. I guess I would too if someone begged. I love migration work still, sort of. Let's see. I think we kind of covered everybody here. So don't forget, folks, to check out the notes at the bottom there and just double checking. I don't think I got anything else. That's it, guys. See you in the next course, and that will be with Anthony, number 10. Thanks.